Okay, shooters, over here we're at the very first stage of the reloading process, and I'm going to put in a little plug in here for a cool tool, and this tool is actually called the shell sorter. It's a way to separate the different size brass from each other. The shell sorter is actually 3 bins, and what I do is I keep them stacked up with towels separating each one. The reason being, it just makes them easier to pop apart. When you have them together, they can get crunched in there, especially if you put some weight on it, and it can be a little hard to take off. Whereas if you put a towel on there, like such, they pop off really easy. Another thing too is I like storing things in here, so I might put like brass and maybe a couple of bags of brass or something in there, and it can start getting heavy. And after, like, a week or so of sitting in there, the shell sorters, the bins will settle in with each other, and it'll be very difficult to take apart. Versus if you have towels on it, it'll come apart really easy. The shell sorters actually come with 3 different bins, and let me show you these different bins. And let me add here also that at the very bottom over here I have something. It's like I have a vibratory tumbler. It's called the Lyman 2500 Pro Magnum tumbler, and it has something called an auto flow feature on it, which I totally think is useless. It's super loud. It doesn't even work at all. But this bottom bin over here came with it, and I like it. You're going to see it in a lot of the reloading process, where I just use it to store things. It comes with 3 different bins, like I was mentioning. The first one is the bottom one, and what I'll do is I'll usually put like a little piece of tape on here. And as you can see, this one right here is labeled bottom. It holds 9mm, 38, and 223. The second bin is the middle bin. Once again, I don't rely on memory. I like marking everything. This one over here is labeled middle bin, and it holds 10mm and 357 Magnum. Now, I know that they probably hold more different calibers, but these are the only ones that I use, so these are the only ones that I marked it for. And of course, my main staple is the top bin. You can probably see up there, it says top. It's for 45 ACP. Once again, for mines, I like marking them around the edges also. And as you can see, I marked down here top. It'll say 45 ACP, 44 Magnum, 308. So this is a great tool. If you guys know anything about separating brass, it can be a real bear and a time-consuming process as well. I'm going to show you guys how fast this is using the shell sorter here. I want to talk about something else really quick too. Usually when I go shooting, my 2 main staples are going to be 45 and 223 caliber. And in my case, the 45 and the 223 caliber, or the 223 round, they're both very extreme different sizes. So if you have a 45 ACP here and you have a 223, the 223 inserts very easily into the 45 and comes out. And if you insert it and it has media in it, it's the same thing with a little bit of vibration, a little bit of tumbling, it'll come out very easy. Now, if you do the same thing, let's just say you have a 45 ACP with, let's just say, 10mm or 40 cal, those things are going to be a lot tighter. And then if you throw media in there, they're probably not going to come out. It's going to be a bear. And I can tell you from experience, I don't like that, and it's a waste of time. I don't like separating things like that. So what I'll do is, usually when I tumble, I'll make sure that I tumble 2 types of brass that are very distinct in size. In this case, what I did is I have a bag over here set up, and this bag has a 45 ACP and 223 mixed up together. And like I was just telling you, they're very extreme in size difference, so they're going to separate differently. When I tumble them in the media, they come apart easily. When I put them through the media separator, they come apart easily. And you're going to see when I separate them, they're going to come apart easily. Alright? So, I'm just going to use the 45 ACP and the 223. Now, I don't really need this bottom one, because once I separate from the 45 ACP, I can just have the 223 just fall into this bottom bucket over here. But I'll just leave this here just to show you purposes. Another thing I want to add in here is that when you use the shell sorter, you don't want to fill it up. You want to keep it maybe a quarter of the way full, maybe half of the way full, and that's it. From experience, if you load it up to the top, it's not going to work good. It's going to be a bear, and it's going to take a long time to do it. If you do small loads, do 2 or 3 small loads, but they go really fast, and you're going to see that in a second. So once again, quarter of the way, halfway, and that's it. You don't need more than that. If you want to experiment to see how sloppy it is when you fill it up to the top, so be it. If you want to go over that way and see for yourself, that's fine. So, just a quarter of the way here. And also I want to mention the movements. Twisting left to right, flipping like you flip an egg on a pan, and just twisting and flipping is pretty much what it takes to get these things separated. And it is very loud. It's really loud. And that's pretty much it. Every once in a while you're still going to get a 223 round stuck within a 45 shell. But it's very infrequent, and I don't know if you can see in here, but there is no 223. Yep, guess there was one that just fell out. So that one cleaned really good. Let's do the second batch here. That's it. They're all clean. All 45s up on top. All 223s down below. So once again, this is a super quick way to separate two types of brass. And I also give you a couple of tips on how to mix up the brass. You want brass of two very distinct different sizes, and it makes the separation a lot easier. Both for tumbling in the vibratory tumbler with the media, and also for separating the brass. So this is just a quick little plug over here for the shell sorter. I think it's a great tool to keep in your arsenal. It's gonna do you well. It's worth the investment. Between y'all and me, I went to a couple of the larger manufacturers, or not manufacturers, but the resellers. Midway USA, Brownells. I think I went to Cabela's, maybe Graff & Sons. Just different places. And actually the shell sorter, the original manufacturer sold it for the cheapest. So bottom line, out of your pocket with the shipping and everything, the shell sorter actually had the best price. I believe there's also a third bin that you can purchase. Usually when you buy the shell sorter, it automatically comes with these three. But you can purchase another one. I forgot what the caliber is. You know, I don't need it, so it didn't interest me. I didn't remember it. But there is a third one that you can purchase also. So anyways, this is a little plug-in here for the shell sorter. So just imagine that we just came back off the range. You tumble the dirty brass. After the dirty brass has been tumbled, you separated the media from it. Now what we did here is we separated the 45 from the 223. And the next step we're going to do is we're actually going to lube. So we're going to be prepping the cases. And to prep the cases, we're going to have to lube it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So that's it. The next step is to lube it, and I will see you there.